What's going on, guys? Haven't done a video for you in a while. Corey Holland, that is me, with dAPPER Racing. I'd really like to make an announcement of my success. I am very, very pleased to be with Kawasaki, Monster Energy, and Pro Circuit. Currently waiting for the last ends of the logistics, but very, very pleased to be with them, and it felt really gratifying to finally get what I wanted and back for my future and my career, not only for me but as my team and their family members as well. But I'd like to show a special thanks to a bunch of my sponsors. There's quite a bit of them, so this is going to be quite a bit of video for IGTV on Instagram. This is where you can catch it, but thank you very much, Dre, and the team over there by Beats by Dre. This pill is an amazing I find it interesting. I like to share my story about that segment. I find that in my drug addiction, you know, from crashing motorcycles, you know, I traded pill addiction for music addiction, and I find it interesting that this is in the shape of a pill. And Beats by Dre, it's more of like my medicine nowadays. And I tend to listen to a music group called Ambien, and as you know, that's a pharmaceutical type thing that helps depression, but it's more of the music type of depression suppressant for me, from Ambien. So thank you to Ambien and stuff like that. Just a little segment on that. Hopefully put that out in the IGTV video and put that out. That'd be really cool. Anyways, I'd really like to thank Armasport for my supplements, and you know, Monster Energy for sure with the energy. GoPro, thank you very much for everything you do for me. Rhino Power as well, it's another supplement company for some of the guys on the team, and some of the selected athletes for myself and a couple other companies or guys that are on the athletic teams, that, you know, they can kind of choose whatever they'd like on different race teams. But Dunlop for sure, you guys are always keeping us pretty solid on everything for tires and for the dirt bikes and quads and stuff like that, as well as Goodyear Racing for all the race vehicles and all the vehicles for RVs, truck and trailer, for the semis, for the light duty passenger to the light duty diesel, stuff like that. I mean, super thank you. Big shout out to you guys for an amazing tire. I really like that really aggressive MT and AT Wrangler for the trucks. Those are a really sweet tire. You don't really slip around at all, you know what I mean, on the ice or snow or mud. Samsung, you guys make an amazing phone. I still have an outdated Samsung S10, but I love that thing. You know, I bounce back and forth between both companies and all different brands. You know, LG, that's another really good one. But as far as the Samsungs, you guys really keep us top notch on our team, especially with it wrapped with an OtterBox. So thank you guys from OtterBox from keeping all of our electronics with us clumsy athletes, and myself included. You know, I'm not speaking for anybody else other than myself at this moment, but we do drop electronics and we do break them, and those tools keep us protected, you know, on a full scale. So I'd greatly appreciate that. Maxima is a oil company I'm looking at and wanting to use that in our race bikes because our team chooses that. And Showa Suspension, thank you very much, in partnership with Pro Circuit, dialing in some of that suspension. It's amazing. Always been a huge fan of Showa on the Pro Circuit side, and as you know, Pro Circuit makes some serious competitive products, so thank you very much for that. Motool Tools and Motion Pro Tools. Thank you guys for the support and backing, always keeping our team with the tools that we need for our mechanics so they can do their jobs. Thank you. Milwaukee, thank you for the backing from Milwaukee, making amazing tools. Just looking at a bunch of new tools today, the feel section and the brushless. You guys always coming out with some cutting edge technology there for the electronic tools, for hand tools, for carpenters, and even us mechanics and in the fields and in the shops and wherever else they need those tools. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank Von Zipper for your backing on sunglasses, 100% shades. I'm blessed to be on that team for sure. Been on some really cool trips with you guys and in the athlete development sector. That was really cool. OGO, man, really saw that new wait till you guys see the black OGO backpack with heavy duty zippers with the monster on there. Oh man, that backpack is legit. I just seen that at that Kawasaki the other day. I can't wait till that drops and the whole public gets that, because that's definitely a really cool product. I'm glad we decided to develop that program or that product. And Trek Bikes and Specialized, thank you guys so much for both of your backings for me as an individual athlete. Yeah, I got this really cool carbon fiber alloy bike you guys made me. I'm super blessed to have my hands on that and some Specialized equipment for sure. Can't wait to do more product development and testing on new products there. Can't wait to test that new full carbon fiber bike out. That thing's really light out here. So most definitely JLab audio. I know I'm a huge fan of Beats by Dre. I haven't tested out their earbuds yet, but I've been blessed to be working with JLabs. You know, Win Kramer and his team there and all that stuff. Those guys are really doing some serious testing. Still haven't had a chance to get my hands on the Epic 2 Air Sport, which are, I think, 70 hours on those headphones alone. Now the first Air Sport ones, they are the full wrap around the ear ones that I have, you know, like this style. You can't really see because I'm filming in my truck right now. Anyways, they have those ones, the first gen has a 40-hour battery life, and you can plug that into any USB 2.0 female connector on a male end, and you can basically charge that pretty much on anything. As far as that goes, thank you again, Arma Sport, for I wanted to specifically thank Scott Sepkovic. That guy's amazing, man. Engineering, product development on that, and the whole team, Nick Way, Jeremy McGrath, Chad Reed, Adam Cincerillo, and myself, I think, and the whole entire team behind that has completely built one of the most top-notch supplement companies, all 100% sport band, non-sport band product, right? So it tests through and through each and every time there's UAs for athletes or whatever. So, and I've used it for a long time, and I've been doing it for about 8 to 10 months now roughly, and not a single thing has come back on my UAs. So that I'm super blessed to be with a product that isn't gonna do something like that, you know. And the 100% curcumin, whey protein, grass-fed protein, I mean, some of the most top-notch organic compounds and raw materials that we use, and there's not a single thing on there on the back of the nutritional facts that isn't going to not be able to pronounce, you know what I mean? So I'm really a huge fan of the bioprene sector of that, and on the reload side, the blitz is pretty intense for keeping those workouts going longer and longer. I promise you, you can put some serious hours on a bike with or without it if you're mentally driven. But it definitely helps sustaining yourself, especially for the recovery side of being super athletic. I definitely 100% believe in that product. Not knocking any other products, you know, I'm not a paid spokesman for anything like that. But I do stand behind Armasport for sure. RCU, that's Ricky Carmichael University. By far one of the hardest programs I've gone through, but me to become an athlete and develop the way through their program has been pretty top notch. My next phase is on the bike training, and I can't wait to get there next on the race bike training. So doing 75% of my training at this rate, and that's the next phase, is getting on that bike and doing that next. So slowly integrating into that, and can't wait for Supercross in Texas. So Ford Performance, most definitely, man. I'm super blessed to have the backing from Ford. They've always had my back since day one, even when I was back in since everything started for me in my career when I was, you know, younger in high school back in 2002. They've always had my back on stuff, on product development for trucks, and, you know, helping me out with trucks as an athlete. And you know what, you got to really work hard to be able to get that kind of backing. So I'm super blessed to have that. For Armstrong is my athlete development program for some of my training stuff. So I can't wait to get that stuff going and be a part of that. And so thank you to the Armstrongs, and for Fox Racing. You know, got my really cool hat on. I like it because it has 5 stars on it. Kind of reminds me of like a 5-star review, and that's what Fox reminds me of, a 5-star product, just top notch. You send in your customization, you know, what you want your jersey to look like, how it to be fitted, how much sag, how much whatever in the knees. I mean, if you go according spec by spec, on how long you want your pants, how much room you want for pads, how much room you want for these style of pads or knee pads, or if you're wearing some of the Titan pads that they have for the underwear, those are a pretty good product too. So you got to calculate how much room you need in there to keep yourself tight. And, you know, there's some fine tuning obviously with that, with getting it tailored, but really blessed to be with those guys for sure. Twin Air products, man, you guys really are knocking it out with all those innovative ideas on keeping our bikes cool, keeping our bikes breathing really well. And there's certain different kinds of products that you guys do have, like radiator sleeves that I'm a really big fan of, and radiator coolers, keeping those bikes really cool on those really hot days, because we know how that goes. You know, don't want to be blowing engines or whatever because we're blowing too much pressure, being too hot, or not enough cooling in the cooling jackets in the motor. So thank you guys for that. And their air filters for sure, oil filters, stuff like that. Shimano brake parts, that's a huge company that I like for sure. They're leaders in their hand controls and stuff for my road cycle, for my Trek, as well as my Specialized. Thank you. And Han wheels, been developing some really cool carbon fiber hubs with some outer sleeved aluminum alloy hubs, connectors for those spokes on some of the rims and wheels that we're putting on there. So thank you very much for that. Also Slick Products, same thing. The best organic compound cleaner you can put on anything, RV, truck, and trailer. A really good product, because you can put that last stage on there, wash that vehicle down, and all that dust falls right off, and you just squeegee it off and it dries up. Doesn't leave any water spots, nor does it tear off anything. Might want to be aware of how if you're if you're just doing an old school prep job and you're trying to paint your rims and not really scuff it up really well and paint it correctly, it might tear that stuff off. But other than that, you know, I'm just kind of being honest, you know, so you guys kind of understand what you're getting into. But it's a good product, and it keeps the mud off your bikes, and that's huge, man. If you can keep a pound or two or 20 pounds worth of mud in a muddy moto, you're gonna be faster than that other guy, right? So there's a huge selling point right there, and I'm not gonna bull crap that to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. So that's a really good thing. I have VP race fuels. I've been testing out some of the T6 or T4, you know, some of the 100%, some of the stuff like that at different altitudes. Down here in where I'm at now in California versus being in Denver, there's two completely different testing phases we're doing, and I'm doing with different bikes. So it's a really good product, man. I love that. Super blessed to have the backing from there, especially with our team. I mean, that we love that product for sure. So thank you guys at VP Race Fuels. Really like to make another shout out to Recluse clutches. Haven't really done too much of the clutch yet, but I really do like the fact that there was trackside support going through that entire process with me, showing me how those clutch systems work. So thank you very much for that. I mean, that's where it's at. You know, you got guys that are going out there at the track showing you what's going on. That's where those companies are thriving, showing up to the track, showing up with those guys, showing you how these products work with these athletes, what to do, how to bleed them, how to take care of things. Galfer USA, thank you. ASV Inventions, I mean, those technicians are out there with us testing and every day, calculating data, collecting data to make a better product, because we're the ones out there hammering on the products. You know, we don't really think as an athlete how much damage we start putting on mechanical issues when you're talking to an engineer or a mechanical engineer, because they understand the principles of, you know, how much pressure you can put on it and what you can and can't. So we just have huge teams that are constantly collecting data and making products better, and I'm super blessed to be in the shoes of testing that. So thank you, Galfer. I wanted to tell you guys that product, literally I barely had any front brake one day on my ASV, you know, on my right side, and I basically hammered that right brake and almost went over the bars. So I had to back off that front brake like tremendously. So they're really touchy on those new floating rotors, and those brake pads are phenomenal. So you guys are definitely doing your job. Ricky Carmichael showed me that insight on that, because he trusts it, I trust it, you know, and we trust the GOAT, you know, and when the GOAT tells us what works, we kind of use it. And you do need braking power, you do need stopping power. That's a huge thing in racing. That, tires, mechanic, I mean everything, every component. I already mentioned Fox Racing. I can't wait to work with you guys. That was a huge, extensive process of becoming on their team. Wow, yeah, that's a definitely, man. They're definitely huge about community, definitely huge about impacting things, and I really like what they do at Fox Racing for sure. I mean, they have a really high aptitude of who they want to work with, and who's going to represent companies, and what are we going to give back to the communities, and what are we going to do. So, you know, I really appreciate the athlete development program with you guys as well, and making awesome. I have the honor of wearing Monster Energy Fox gear with Pro Circuit on there, so thank you very much for that gear. That's a blessing and an amazing thing for me to be able to be on that team for sure. Risk Racing products for sure. You guys have helped me out with an amazing race van, and building products in there like the lock and load. That lock and load is sweet, man. Inside of that race van, inside the race trailers, inside trucks, especially my buddy on Pro Circuit's got a Risk Racing. Basically, it's one of those step on, kind of drive on, what do you call them, like, having a brain fart here. How do you, your bike stand. He basically drives on his bike stand and just hits his foot, and that pops that bike right up in the air. It's pretty cool, and he hits one lever and it drops, so he doesn't really ever have to move it or slide it or pick it up. So that's less stress on the rider, less stress on trying to pick up a bike, especially after like a long moto if you're out there by yourself. So and not to mention, you could always put that thing over to the side of the truck so you're not falling out, you know, when you're loading that bike by yourself. If you don't, I mean, there's another guy with us that rides, and he's got a really cool ramp that you walk up the back, and you can walk up the ramp. He's got like 3 or 4 stairs, and you can push it up the ramp to the right or left, depending on if you're a righty or lefty loader, for getting your bike in the back of your pickup, if that's what you're doing. So there's definitely cool products. Things definitely keep coming out. ASV again, constantly listening to unbreakable levers and the 5-year warranties on those, or more, or whatever, depending on what you're doing. I think there's like 1 to 3 or 5-year warranties depending on the package that you're on, but definitely cool stuff there. There's a couple different other products, and basically I'd really like to make a shout out to Bell Helmets and their product development there. There's a bunch of what do you call it? There's a bunch of cool sorry, I'm running out of battery here sitting in my truck. They got the airbag in the helmets for the pros. I think that should be a good product for most people, and give them an option in almost every helmet for the MIPS technology for the MotoFlex 9. That technology is amazing, the airbag system in there, and I think that we're coming out with a different design. Once it drops, obviously we'll drop more information, but as soon as, I really like and appreciate factory effects on products you guys have done. I mean, you guys make really good, have always had my back since 2006, 2002 era. I've jumped around with a couple different companies, but stuck with factory effects for sure. Mobius braces, that's like the Tony Stark, you know, Transformers type, or Iron Man rather, type knee brace. I got some custom made ones for my left and right. It took me about a year to train to see how big my legs would get before I actually bought a pair. So just a little tip for you guys. Might want to do that instead of just ordering something, or I mean, I'm sure you could probably buy another one, but they're a little expensive. So 100% thank you very much on the triathlon side, and you know, the biking and stuff like that, the sponsorship deal there. Super blessed for that. Home Depot, thank you very much. Magira USA, Navy Federal, SRAM. Got some really cool products right there for sure. S-Works, Specialized again, and Peterbilt trucks. Guys are hauling around the rigs for sure. Those rigs are amazing. K&N air filters, thank you very much for all that, keeping up with air filters on the vehicles. Napa Auto Parts is another one that I really like. Basically, you guys give us some of the best products, OE and OEM, OE solutions. Really trust those products. Got brakes on my truck with that. And I think we'll stop right there because I just ran out of